hello to all my friends out there, and I'm going to do a food storage video. And what I really want to address is buy your food in a way that's going to prevent you from running out of food, suffering. And this might be a little disorganized because I want to cover a lot of stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a little green tea ginger, and I like this one. And the reason I do is because it's really, really good with fruit. Any green tea is good with fruit. It's a mild tea. It smells really good. And so I just want to put a few frozen blueberries. And one of the things I store is frozen fruit. And the reason I store frozen fruit is to put in my tea, but also in case I want to make some festive bread. Or some bread, you know, like some raisin bread or blueberry bread. So the minute you put this in the tea, it starts to pick up the blueberry taste. And I forgot to bring my sugar out, but that's okay. One of the things you want to store, you know, you don't need a lot, but just make sure you have a bag of sugar. For this reason, for tea. Because if you don't have much money, you can drink a little tea and you can get through the day without suffering. I mean, you know, water is brutal. That's all you have. That is good. Okay, so if you get a few basic recipes that you make over and over, and when you find the things to make these recipes over and over and over, you're gonna have more food. First thing is find bread the cheapest possible price. And what I found was this bread yesterday for two for $1. So that was a really, really good deal. And the reason I need bread is because I can always make sandwiches. So I try to keep sandwich meats around, you know. And I try to get those for $1. So, you know, that is going to take you through quite a few sandwiches, and that is the whole idea. And you know, when I see cans of tuna on sale, and then to go with the sandwiches, I stockpile soup. And so now, you know, Christmas is coming and I don't want to spend any money. So I'm going to have a little soup and crackers with some sandwiches. And I'm not going to be suffering when I'm not spending any money. And then, you know, I have been doing the better ramen soup. And so that is good soup. You can add a little vegetables and meat to it and have a sandwich. And you're not going to be suffering much. Let me see. And I try to get all kinds of soup when it's on sale. Okay, the second thing is rice. Store rice and beans. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, what can you make with that? Well, tonight I'm making barbecue chicken. And what I do is I heat the beans in a big pot and I add water. And then I add a pile of rice on top of the beans and then some meat. Sometimes you've seen me, I do hamburgers. You could do smoked sausage. This is a good one. I watch for these on sale. You could do hot dogs. You could do pork links. And these are all cheap meats. And you could do these little thin cut steaks. So the basic recipe though that I use over and over and over and over and over is baked beans with rice. Sometimes I put the rice in the middle of the plate and I put meat on the plate and then I put the beans around. Or if you don't like your food mixed up, well, then just have everything in a separate bowl. But it's still really cheap. Okay, the thing that's really important to store, and yesterday I was shopping for the big bags of powdered milk, is milk. And why milk? Because you need milk to make good gravy. If the gravy is going to be your food, you need some milk. And I bought some of that dollar meat at Dollar Tree. I bought the small steaks, and I bought the pork loin chop. And you know, you can use anything, meatballs. These are good. And so you make gravy, and then you can add rice or a big pile of mashed potatoes, or you know, cooked potatoes. So that is going to be cheap. And you've seen me make the big pots of meat. Okay, then another cheap thing that you guys have all seen me make. Oh, and here's another lunch meat, you know, that's good for my sandwiches. And these would be good on top of the rice. Baked beans with rice and some of these chicken patties. Chicken is really good on that. Okay. Now, I'm looking for, okay, the other thing I keep in the refrigerator or the freezer at all times is tortillas. And I keep cheese. And you know, I bought this big bag of cheese. So I do that so I can make tacos. And I could, if this wasn't maple, that wouldn't be too hot. But if it was regular pork links, I could scramble those up and make tacos. Or any of these thin cut meats and a little salsa. I get that at Dollar Tree. Okay. And the other thing you want to store, as I mentioned before, is tea. But when you're storing tea, you want to store these. These are like 100 bags for $1. You know, you don't want to be running out of any kind of beverage except having to drink water. That'd be brutal. The other thing I store is frozen fruit. I keep frozen fruit and dry fruit. So why dry fruit? Well, the dry fruit is in case I want to make some bread. And I have a bunch of piles of this. The other thing is vegetables, any kind of frozen vegetables, because those are going to be good in the better ramen soup or the stir fries. So you want to have a few vegetables. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is very important. You want to store jam, because the jam is really going to help if you want to make a few cookies, or you want to have some bread and eggs with some toast. There's the cookies. I buy the jam as cheap as I can. I'm not real picky about jam. I just don't want to be running out of jam. So, the other thing is flour. I bought these flours at Dollar Tree for $1. And you want to keep flour around because you can make some of those soda breads. And this is the other thing. Baking soda and baking powder. I buy those when I get them cheap. And then you need oil, some kind of oil. I'm shopping around for a big one. And some kind of margarine, because you can bake with margarine. And then another thing is eggs, because you can always make an egg burrito, a bacon and egg burrito, an egg and bacon bit sandwich. So let me give you the recipe for my, this is very hard to do. Okay, so, oh no. Oops. Sorry you guys, I gotta find the bread recipe. This is a very important recipe. Oh, here we go. Okay. If you see this recipe, if you use buttermilk, all you have to do is add 1 tablespoon milk to your any kind of milk, regular milk, powdered milk, evaporated milk. When I use evaporated milk, I use 1/2 for 1 cup, 1/2 cup evaporated milk, 1/2 cup water. So if you get a few of these easy recipes And then when you see a good deal on these items that are going to help you not to run out of food. I know this was kind of disorganized, but I'm going to be cooking, and this is good. Okay, what I do is I get the tea and the fruit. Let me taste this. I'll tell you if it's good. You know, if you're kind of in a broke and lowly state and you have a little cup of tea with sugar and some sandwiches and some soup, you're not going to suffer. You know, a lot of times when people are really broke, they just can't think straight. And, you know, for many years, you know, I've been there. It's not fun, you know. But you know, once you kind of get the hang of this and you start losing that fear, you know, you get yourself some hot dogs, you get yourself some sausage, you get yourself some thin cut meat and some frozen vegetables and, you know, some sandwich stuff. And, you know, you're not going to run out of food. So once you're not going to starve, then you can start addressing other problems. And I just wanted to make another mention of the utility thing because, you know, that really bothered me, thinking of some family sitting around in the cold with no lights. My neighbor would turn his breaker switch off and only, except the refrigerator, and only turn it on when he was going to use his electricity. And then, you know, I'm looking around for solar lights, and they have them cheap too on eBay. Just go solar light panel for sale on eBay, and I found a bunch of them. And then the other thing was, like, if you barely have enough money for your utilities, my neighbor, because, you know, I lived in a lowly area for a long time, my neighbor would only use Christmas lights, you know, in his house. You know, he would have it was a he. Men really know how to serve. He would use only like a string of Christmas lights for his lights, and then that would keep his utility bills way down too. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to be back tonight with barbecued chicken on rice with baked beans. I'm going to make it in a big pan, and then, you know, tomorrow when I mix it up, it's going to be like a pot of soup. And so you saw us, you know, I decided to show you guys when I eat the leftovers, because, you know, if you see the person's eating it, you go, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I could survive on that. So I am praying for you all at night. You know, I say the umbrella prayer, and my messages are getting out of control too. You know, I like to answer them all, but I'm getting to the point where I have so many messages. Yesterday, I could not see. I mean, I could not type, but I'm making every attempt I can to answer the messages. And furthermore, I would like to encourage you all to read the messages from my followers, because there is tons of good ideas on there, and they're lovable. Oh my gosh. You know, I had this thing, I want to start a joy consciousness. My followers are full of joy. And so if you just want to make yourself smile and, you know, soak up the love from the people who are out there offering it, you know, and they have some damn good ideas, you know. And if you have time, one of the followers was saying she donates her time at the soup kitchen. So if you have a little chance to donate, this year I donated my food to the senior citizens. And if you have a little extra money, you know, to give your needy neighbor a bag full of food, or a couple extra dollars to people out there. So, okay, joy to you all. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and God bless you all.